Hello, I'm Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 midnight Eastern Time, and 12 noon on Saturday in Hong Kong. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California. Exciting news, India landed on the moon.
Yeah, after Russia did a structural integrity test of the surface for
Is that
them.
what that is?
Yeah.
What's really exciting too is, well, they're the fourth country in the world to land on the moon and the first country in the world to get close to the South Pole, where apparently there's a bunch of water. So that's really cool. All right. Last week's trivia question was, and did any of you take a stab at it? The question was, what is the largest observed redshift?
Ah, here we go.
Hi, Jeannie Becker.
Yep.
You want to? Oh, I
can
do it.
Yeah.
And Cliff. Welcome, Cliff.
Yeah.
India landed. Yep.
Yep.
Hey, Cliff. Welcome. Thanks for joining
Cliff is
us.
here. I found out why internet was so bad. So changed telcos, and it's great now. Oh, hey, that's great, Cliff.
That is awesome news. Yay. All right, so guesses on the largest observed redshift. Drum roll, please. we should get one of those. Scott. Yeah, I wonder how long before any other country has some astronauts land on the moon.
Yep.
Exciting times. Yes. Oh, right. I meant to mention that. Yes, Janie Becker, I saw that email as soon as, I think that night, right? Last Friday night. And I was very excited to read what you had. That is not what we found, though. Jeff actually found it. You want to read it?
Okay. You want to pop up the screen?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Share screen. There it is.
Oops. We both shared screen.
Yes, thank you. All right, so go ahead.
Okay.
From the notes. You want to see the notes?
Well, no. Do this one that has the actual paragraph, but this is for the Wikipedia Redshift page. What is the largest observed redshift? And it's cosmic background radiation. If you could go to.
Yep, we have it right here. The most distant objects, and this is about halfway down, exhibit larger redshifts corresponding to the Hubble flow of the universe. The largest observed redshift, corresponding to the greatest distance and furthest back in time, is that of the cosmic microwave background radiation. Isn't that cool? And I don't know if you knew this, but that is when in the old style televisions, when the thing was, go ahead and bring it back to us.
Okay.
When you had that snow at the end, remember they'd go off
air, or if you were just on a non-channel,
right? That actually was picking up the cosmic.
1% of that was the cosmic background radiation.
Oh, 1%. I'd not heard that. Okay.
Yeah. So if you filtered out, 99% of it, the rest of it was cosmic background radiation.
Oh.
The rest was our magnetic field and our atmosphere.
Ah, okay. So like a lot of the projects, you're sorting out the noise from the.
Right.
Okay. All right. You're up.
Okay. Tonight's topic, as you might have guessed from the question, Redshift Wrangler Part 2. We'll be back in 8.3 seconds.
Hi, Dawn.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Yes, so John there. Hi, folks. Tonight's episode, we'll delve into Task 2, Check Spectral Fits. I'm just thinking of ghosts having a conniption.
You said you got that out of your system yesterday.
I know. I forgot that I'd said it, so there you go.
Okay. 3 seconds to come up. Yay!
I'm clicking to enter.
Yeah, we'd love to try that.
Yeah, Cliff.
Very excited. Thank you.
You
have more, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not more people, but more stuff to say about it. Okay. Task 2, check spectral fits from this Zooniverse project. Task 1 was a good setup, and now you can sink your teeth into a really juicy project. Pam, tell us about task 2 of Redshift Wrangler.
Alrighty, I will go over there if you don't mind sharing.
I don't mind.
And this should be familiar to you from 2 weeks ago when we talked about the very first part of this. They call it task 1, identify spectral features. I wanted to point out that they are still showing 0 completed subjects. So that was interesting. So, and you'll recall here is what task 1 looked like. And you decided whether there were emission and absorption lines or there weren't any or something weird. So in this case, I'm going to just run 1 or 2 of these. So you remember, I don't see any because what we're looking for is this kind of little dots or a blank spot. And it's just noise. All this looks like noise to me. And if you look at the really big thing, you can't really see a very distinctive spike. It's all kind of messy spikes. So I'm going to go can't find any here. And done. That's it. This is, oh, maybe we have something over here. Yep, I would say that's one. But there's no corresponding bright spot at the bottom. So I'm going to call this all noise too. Can't find any. Let's see if we can find one real quick. Nope, I don't see any here either. And it's great. You get kind of used to these, and you can speed up your process a little bit. No, nothing really. This is all noise. Oh, here? Let's look. Jeff pointed out something over here on C. Yeah, well, there's a sort of a dot there. All right, let's call it emission and or absorption lines. I would say that's was an emission, right?
Yeah.
The absorption goes under the noise, below the noise. All right, and then you go next, you mark it like this, and I think that was it, right?
Yep.
Great example though, because then we can move on to task 2 now. All right, so I would call that done. And then let's see what it runs to the next task, right? Yeah, emission or absorption. All right, so that's a really good setup, and you get the hang of how to work these. And when you're ready, you can move over to task 2, and they have the
Hey, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
I'm an irregular folk who would like to navigate space. I'll try to blend in.
Fair enough. All right, so this one has a tutorial as well, like all of the projects on Zooniverse. They say you can switch between the two. They talk about a video tutorial, and here it is. And I gotta say, a couple of the times when I've looked at this, it was all very fuzzy. So possibly my computer, but I thought these were kind of useful and kind of not too. But definitely, it's only 6 minutes. Take a look at it. If it kind of gets the ball rolling for you and you start understanding. And the first part of this, they talk about task 1, and the second part, they talk about task 2. One of the things I found as well was there was somewhat outdated. And of course, they've probably updated the project, but they didn't necessarily update the video. All right.
Well, that's what you're here for.
Right, exactly. So fitting the spectra is what we're doing here. And it has to do with these kind of black lines, and you'll see them here and then you look at these other things that are dashes, some dashed red line kind of coordinating with the whole business here, but then there's these dashed up and down lines, these vertical lines. So what they're trying to tell you is that these are somewhat complex. The computers kind of have trouble with them. So do they match? The idea is to find out if they match. And shout out to Dawn Jenkins, because she really helped me go through this and help me understand it. Because the first time I went through, I was like, oh my God, what? So we did spend some time and play with it and came to a much better understanding. I really appreciate that. All right, so you will first be asked to see if you see any real emission lines. That's this high up or low down compared to the kind of steady noise. And sure enough, here's one that we see. It is a bump up. It's an emission line. And they're talking about these panels here, not the big long one. I know it's underneath here, but you'll see in a second. But these panels that basically, take a segment of this larger thing and blow it up for you. All right, they look like peaks in the spectrum that stands out strongly against the noise, like the example here. There may be emission lines in more than one panel. You can indicate more than one answer for this question. So select all panels in which you see emission lines. All right, so pretty straightforward. And I think it starts getting dicey as we go into this little process. All right, next is to determine whether there are any broad lines present.
Cliff says, "Oh, I hope computers don't need us." Well, I hope they continue to need us, Cliff.
I think we should be very well needed. Well, and we'll be able to do things that computers just can't. I kind of think they got this backwards though, because they say the next step is to determine whether there are any broad lines. I think it's a little bit different, and it took me a second to figure out what they're talking about. It kind of has to do with this because they were saying on the right side, and I think when I read it first, it said on the left side, and I'm looking over here, and I'm like, wait, what? So it's very confusing, but I think they have fixed it. They say the right side. This one here, kind of see that it's not just a pure spiky thing. It's got kind of a slope up and then a slope down. So that's going to have a broader, bottom like that is there. Broad or narrow, lines overlapping. A broad line looks wider at the base. To determine whether the spectrum has any broad emission or absorption lines, look for features that appear wider than usual, like in this example. You can check out the field guide for more on broad lines. Yeah. So here's one that's pretty broad. That's kind of broad too, but they didn't point that out as much as the other one. All right, the task also asks you to indicate whether the fit matches. And what they're talking about is you can see this kind of black line, and then the red line is following it pretty well, the contours. It follows it pretty well, as well as these vertical dashed lines. And in this case, they do fit. Yeah, you got a comment?
Yeah.
I should mention Terminator.
Yeah, should have mentioned Terminator. Yep.
Yeah.
A very good movie that shows just how stupid you can be in creating an AI.
Yes. Okay. So let's see. So they start by looking at an example of a good fit, and that's what this one is. The red lines follow the contours, and the dashed lines point out the peaks. All right. Let's see if there's anything else on here we should. Yeah, match. See if they match up. Vertical lines serve as a guide. They mark where the expected center of the mission lines will be in the fit. And that's what the computer did. The computer tried to match it up with the red dashed lines as well as the vertical lines. All right. And here is a case where it's not a good fit. It's a poor fit. You got another comment?
Yeah, Daniel. The main difference between emission and absorption spectra is that emission spectrum has different colored lines in the spectrum, and absorption spectrum has dark colored lines in the spectrum. Yeah, and that's why emissions tend to spike up in these, and absorption lines tend to spike down.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this one doesn't have that other guided. Let's see, they called it 2D and 3D over here, remember? And let's see, which one is it? I forget. But we don't see this band that kind of helps in task 1. You don't see it in task 2. You don't have that in task 2, unfortunately. Do we have another comment?
Yeah, cool. They are trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
and that's how you can tell a person they're imperfect.
Yeah, and besides, what we've got now isn't really AI. In a sense, there's no sapience there.
Oh, right.
It can't think. Doesn't have any opinions.
So here's a poor fit. First of all, we've got this red dotted line that absolutely does not follow the contours of the black line at all. And then, too, the dashed lines are off. If they're centered at these peaks, then it is a good fit. But these are a poor fit. We want to know if there are any issues with the fit, and if so, what are they? In this example, the red fit line is near the bottom. It doesn't follow the black line, and the colorful vertical lines don't match the location of any of the 3 peaks. They actually have an extra one here too. What's up with that? So that's the computer's idea of what this looks like, and it is definitely a poor fit.
Yeah. Give them time. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I have an opinion about AI, and maybe that's a different show.
Yeah, we could do an episode on that. That'd be fun.
Yep.
All right, so let's see what's this one about. Yeah, this one here is basically all noise. And the computer really can't follow this, as you can see, and there's really no emission or absorption lines, so it's all messed up. So it's hard to distinguish if there's too much noise. Background noise describes some random signals like this, makes it hard to find real features. And we know this. I mean, obviously, this is all just noise. There's no distinctive peak or trough in there anywhere.
And besides, the computer's best guess isn't even the highest peak.
No. All right, so let's see. If you find yourself having trouble finding the peaks in spectra that look like this, don't worry. Just indicate there are no lines here and move on to the next one. And we are at the end where they do mention that you can refer to the field guide. And we looked at that last week a little bit. I think I'm just going to do because this is a real juicy task. I really like this one. Remember to use your best judgment and look at the whole picture before selecting your answer. It's better to take more time and get better results than to rush. If you're having any trouble, you can consult the instruction video. And that one's over here. And I didn't like this one either. It's short, which is good. Again, it has task 1 and then task 2. However, it's kind of outdated. You see things in those, that's not what it looks like anymore. So, again, it's a good way to get the ball rolling for yourself. But I think if you just go in here and work with these tasks themselves directly, you're going to get the idea pretty quick. All right, so I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and go over here. One of the things that I didn't really point out last time and I noticed afterwards, like, oh, this is kind of cool, because up in the upper left corner, they give it a number. They give this object a number, and they tell you this light left this galaxy 8.7 billion years ago. This galaxy has a mass of 33.7 billion suns. This image was taken with Hubble, and the spectrum is from the Keck Observatory. So that's pretty cool. And since this is our first task, let's take a look at the whole thing. What we're really going to do is determine what's in A, B, and C in this case. And of course, they're saying, do any panels contain real emission or absorption lines? And, I kind of tend to look at both. So it's real obvious where there are things that stand out from the noise. And here you can actually, zoom way into the details of these. I would go, yes, there are real emission and or absorption lines, right? Don't you think, Jeff?
Yeah, B and C.
Definitely B and C, yeah. All right, and so it'll give you a next. I think if it was a no emissions, it'd just be done. But we'll probably see that. Which panels appear to include a real emission line or absorption line? Like Jeff said, B and C. I think we're good there.
I wonder what would happen if you hit D, E, or F at this point, because there aren't any.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it looks like Dawn's got a comment too.
Oh. I'm watching an old Doctor Who story, First Doctor, about an AI taking over the world.
As tape reels.
As tape reels, yeah.
That's fascinating. I love Doctor Who. All right. Which panels, if any, appear to have a broad line? Okay, so there's the broad line. It wasn't really the second thing or the first thing I thought the tutorial was a little bit off on that. So I'm going to say this one here, B. And let's zoom in a little bit too. And I noticed something too, my, while you can actually hit it again and again, my roller ball on my mouse let me zoom in and out when you have this cursor, this sort of four-headed arrow thing. All right, and see how this is a really fine one here. It just peeks right out of the noise. But this one here, it's got a broad base. So I'm going to say yes to B being a broad.
Yeah, but not A.
Line.
Or not C.
No, not C. Not C is quite a bit more, quite a bit finer, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and you'll notice this here, this blue, that's off. But they'll ask about that in another panel here. All right, do any another part of the task. Do any panels contain a poor fit? I'm going to say yes. Oops, let's see, let's get our cursor back here. And you're looking at these A, B, C, right? I think we're going to think about two things here, the red and the vertical. So yes, at least one panel contains a poor fit to the data. And then next they're going to show you, so which ones, maybe it's after this too, which ones appear to have a poor fit. Oh, did I do that wrong? Oh, this one here, C.
Well, doesn't A also have a poor fit?
Well, that's a good question because it's kind of noise. And if you think about how, oh, yeah, but there's a vertical line there, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I'd call that a poor fit. This part here, they all kind of balance each other out a little bit. But yeah, let's go ahead with A.
Yeah, I figured that by marking A on that one, it lets the algorithm, trains the algorithm that, that's not really a valid one.
Yeah, good point. All right, so those are really only A, B, C to choose, and I think B is pretty good. It does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So let's go with next. Oh, and then here it is.
Maybe even longer now that the universe is now maybe 27.6 billion years old due to the JWST photos in mass.
Yeah, there's some question about that I've read recently.
Yeah, everything's a hypothesis until they.
Yep. You can get 1,000 yeses, and if you get one no, that's it. Done.
Yep.
You're done. Doesn't matter. All right. What issue or issues do you see in the panel or panels containing poor fits? So I think let's see. Peak wavelength of the fit does not line up with the visible emission lines. Yeah, we've definitely got one of those in C as well as A. Height of the fit doesn't line up with the visible emission line. Gaps on the spectrum. I've not seen this, so I don't know what that means. It's fitting noise.
That might be A.
That might be A. Yes, other problems not listed. So let's see.
Does the height of the fit doesn't line up with the visible emission lines?
Yeah, I would say, and let's take a look at B here, because what I think they're talking about, and this was definitely an issue for a while, is this red dotted line, and it flows up in this emission, and then it goes back into the noise.
Right. But
so I think if it didn't...
I was looking at C.
Okay, let's look at C.
The blue line there.
Well, isn't that... Doesn't not line up with the visible...
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess it's not, it can't fall under both categories. Okay, I got it.
Oh, but it doesn't though, does it?
Oh.
Look at that. Well, we see a red dotted line here, so okay, you are right. The height doesn't line up with the visible emission line. And here's where they say take your time.
Yeah.
Because I would have probably completely missed that. But again, a lot of people are doing every single one of these, so
and I was right by accident because I was looking at the blue one.
Oh, the blue one? Well, that absolutely doesn't line up at all either. It's trying to track noise. And to me, that's...
yeah, that's the first one, not the second
one. The peak wavelength of the fit does not line up with visible emission line. Yeah, this isn't an emission or an absorption line at all. Yeah. This one is, but this red dotted line doesn't go up with it and come back down. I'm really glad you saw that. All right.
Like I said, I didn't. You did after I pointed you at the right panel.
But it kind of looks like it because it's a red dashed line. Isn't that funny? All right. So let's see. Are we good? I don't think there's any other problems. I don't even know. Oh, maybe in the field guide it talks about gaps.
Well, if there's a gap, like they just didn't record stuff for a certain chunk of the spectrum, like there's a blank line in part of it.
Yeah, I think we saw it in the field guide. So is that what you're remembering?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here we are back to a new item, 677-099. It's 12.7 billion years away. Mass of 4 billion suns. Taken with Hubble, and the spectrum is from Keck. I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. They tell you what this is and where it's from. Oh, and look, we only have an A and a B.
Because most of it, I guess the computer realized that there's nothing in the first half of that.
Ah, okay. So that makes sense. Do any panels contain real emission or absorption lines? And I kind of look at both this one and these. And I would definitely say this one here is an A.
Yep.
Right? And
We'll zoom in.
yeah, hard to tell in B because the noise is.
Oh, and look at A because the vertical line is off.
Well, are you
on
talking
A.
about A being here?
Oh no, there's a yellow. I didn't see the yellow when we were zoomed out.
This here, that's kind of green.
Yeah.
I see it as green. You may see a yellow. Yeah, and that's another reason that if you look at the the long thing at the top, it might point out where, like, see that purple?
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of hard to see the green though, but you can kind of see it up there at the very top.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that there are definitely one or more emission and or absorption lines, and they're going to be emission lines on this. All right, so let's see which panel or panels appear to include a real emission line or absorption line.
Oh, we know A.
We know, yeah, we definitely know A. Let's see. Yeah, it's really hard to tell on B because I'm not sure we have an emission line of any sort, but it's very peaky noise, huh?
Yeah, and there is a bump in the red horizontal,
Yep, right there.
But it doesn't really match. It matches their guess, but it doesn't match the peak of the thing. So that might be noise.
Yeah, I think that's basically noise. Let's see. And here are the numbers on the bottom: 1270 to 1361, which you can coordinate with these. Well, and unfortunately they're not the same, but 1315 is pretty close to 1320. Right there, you see that 1320.
And you also see the bump in the red lines.
Yep, right. Oh, we got another comment.
By the way, T-minus 3 hours for P7 launch to the International Space Station aboard SpaceX Dragon capsule Endurance.
Yep. You gonna stay up for that, Daniel?
That's only 12:30 tonight for us.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Whoops, we got another comment. Okay, good.
It all comes from the Redshift, and maybe this might be wrong, as might need different adjustments to view or shift. JWST has opened a huge can of worms. Yes. I mean, that's, scientists love questions more than they do answers, or at least a lot of scientists.
Well, the more answers you get, the more questions you unleash. Probably. Yay. All right, Daniel.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So A is definitely B.
We're going to.
I don't know.
Well, you have to pick one or we're going to be here forever.
Yeah. I'm going to go with no.
Okay.
I don't think we have anything in B. Yep. Okay. Which panel or panels, if any, appear to have a broad line? Oh, I don't think we do. Yeah, I wouldn't call that broad line at all. No. Let's see. No broad lines visible. There we go. That's kind of useful. We can see another example. Do any panels contain a poor fit? Yeah, I'd say that's a poor fit right there, that purple line. Zoom into that a little bit. So that's just noise.
Yep.
Yes, at least one.
Yeah, panel B, of course.
Yeah, there's all kind of stuff in there. All right, so which A and B, right?
Yep.
Okay. Go next. What issue or issues do you see in the panel or panels containing poor fits? All right. Here we go. The peak wavelength does not line up with visible line emissions. Well, I think it's okay there.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
The height doesn't line up with... Oh, wait. Peak wavelengths. Here's where it gets a little confusing. What do these really mean? The height, I think that's the red line down here.
Yep.
Well, that kind of doesn't line up either with this stuff, with this noise.
Right.
And then the peak, that's okay in A.
Yep.
I think we're good there. But yeah, you can definitely see how you want to take a little time with each one of these and give it some thought. It's a juicy project.
And it is fitting noise.
Oh, let's see.
Look at A. That's just noise that is going for. And also
there, yeah.
And also the blue in B.
Yep. Well, both of those.
Yep.
We don't really see. All right, so what did we decide? Fitting noise. Gaps.
Yep.
Peak wavelength of the fit does not line up with visible emission lines. I think we're okay on that one. All right, so we are done. And on to the next project. So I think you get the idea. Let's bring us back.
Okay. Here we are.
I think you pretty much get the idea and absolutely give it a go. I mean, this can be really fun and you're absolutely contributing to science. So, yeah, you got an idle few minutes. Play around with the Citizen Science Project.
Yep.
And now you have a demonstration of how it works and what to watch for. All right. Where are we? Are we here?
Yep.
Cool.
Some stellar events this week, August 25th through September 1st. August 26th. Oh, Daniel.
Do you have a project that tests if the universe is a simulation?
No.
Do
Well,
not know.
Yet. Not yet.
That's a good question, though.
Well, I mean, we have the Planck constant, which gives us the smallest pixel size.
Okay.
So if it is a simulation, the Planck constant would be a hint that it might be. It would be one data point that points that it might be.
Okay.
August 25th. Oh, I said that. August 26th, moon runs low. It needs every charge. August 27th, Saturn is at opposition. Down with Jupiter. August 28th.
Pluto will be here all night.
August 28th, Pluto and the moon are in conjunction. You'll see one of those. And Uranus is stationary.
Oh, I have a thing from the old Farmer's Almanac. Is like, what does that really mean? I am going to read it for you. Stationary. The brief period of apparent halted movement of a planet against the background of the stars shortly before it appears to move backwards, westward, retrograde, or forward, which is eastward, and direct motion. There you have it.
Yep. So
now we know.
Basically, it looks like it's either going past us or, faster than us or slower than us. And it's the changeover from them that it appears stationary, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of like a pendulum. It's stationary twice each time.
Briefly.
Yeah.
Very briefly. Yeah.
August 30th, full moon, blue moon, super moon. 3 moons for the price of 1. And all 3 of them are at perigee.
It just so happens that the full moon on the, what is it, the 30th?
Yep.
Is considered a blue moon because it's the second one in this month, in the same month. And because it's at perigee, they're calling it a super moon, blue moon. Whatever floats your boat. The super moon thing is kind of a new thing, and a lot of people were a little bit like, but you know what? If that makes you go and look, why not?
Yeah, if it makes headlines.
Yeah.
Because, they have a super moon every 3 months, and, if they can get a headline out there, whatever. Also, Saturn and the 3 moons are in conjunction.
Saturn and the moon. Oh, and it's actually time to check the lights out for birds. Let me show you that. It's kind of cool. And one of the pictures that I really hate is this big old thing, because all that's getting wasted going into space, and it messes up our view of the night sky. It could be much more well put to use. But anyway, that's a different topic. We could do a whole show on that.
It looks like people on the western side of the U.S. are much better than the people on the eastern side of the U.S.
No, it's just less populated. But every year, billions of birds migrate north in the spring and south in the fall. The majority of them fly at night, navigating with the night sky. Look at that. Yay, night sky. However, as they pass over big cities on their way, they can become disoriented by bright artificial lights and sky glow, and they can collide with buildings or windows. These the lights can throw them off, but what's really the problem is hitting these buildings, or when they're flying around and calling and they get confused, then it leaves them vulnerable to other things. Dozens of species are affected, and they talk about this here. And I have another page of this because I thought this was really interesting. When they have some other stuff down here. Take a look. I'm not going to expose you to some of that, but What I really liked was that they tell about how this started in 1993, and that the Audubon Society, that's where this page is about, have partnered and established this program. They started in Chicago, but all kinds of other cities in the United States have gone ahead and worked with them too. All these are links. You can go ahead and look at the different places and look at this. Ohio and North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Maryland, Oregon, all kinds of different places. More Ohio. Have some kind of a program or something.
Detroit, Michigan has a program.
You want to look?
I just think they just lose power once at least once a month.
It should be the right time of year, though, right? Oh, they talk about how to turn off lights helps the birds, and so yeah, some good stuff in here. I just wanted to point this out because if you do want to look at this in terms of, it's not just about the night sky, it's about the animals, because a lot of different animals are attracted to the moon, and if they make a mistake and go for a big old street light instead, it can really mess things up for them. So there's lots of good reasons to go ahead and bring us back to take care of our night skies.
Yep. Daniel has also JAXA's Slim mission to the moon is launching August 27th.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel.
At 8:37 a.m. Eastern Time. Ouch. Yeah.
I'll probably be sleeping through that one.
Yeah.
All right. So I just wanted to mention a little bit about Lights Out for Birds. Yep. Do a quick browse of that. Back to you.
Okay. September 1st is our Friday night show again. And I will do another crunchy episode. More on that shortly. Find us Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the Everyday Spacer Facebook page and the Everyday Spacer YouTube channel. And the moon is on the equator, and Neptune and the moon are in conjunction, of which you most likely only see one of them. Although,
well, we actually learned about that.
Well, yeah,
we were watching something about Neptune, and you can't see it without a telescope. Remember, we were like, "Oh, can you see Uranus?" Well, you can with binoculars, but not Neptune.
Yeah, it's a little bit far out.
Yeah, and we were actually talking about doing a crunchy show about Neptune someday, because this is very interesting. Where did we see that? It was on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
A little channel called Space Matters.
We're going to have to do a little bit more research, because one of the things that they're talking about is that there might be a hot water ocean on one of the coldest planets in our solar system.
Kind of fascinating.
So, yeah, it's someone's theory. Don't know.
Yeah, so the amount of topics and episodes we could do is practically endless. That's just one idea for now. So if you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, we'd love to share our lives. Join us again next Friday, September 1st. Jeff plans to tell you more about brown dwarfs. It's probably going to be a bit of a crunchy show. And by crunchy, we're talking about it's a little more technical. It might be a little more in-depth than usual. And I see a comment. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and show it.
Okay. Cliff says, we have a positive view to light pollution here in Australia. Good. Yeah.
All righty.
And thank you, Janie.
Thank you. We're so glad you're here. Yeah, there are actually places in the United States that the ordinance is that you may not have certain kinds of light. Light trespass. I mean, the folks in front of us here sometimes they shine a light right into this. It's like, what could that possibly be doing for them? Fortunately, we have some blinds we can block it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and tell you tonight's trivia question. What is the coldest known brown dwarf? So join us next week. We'll answer and see if you got it right. Let's do a shout out.
I was just about to try to answer that for them. I forgot that we do.
You want to wait till next week?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Because then we need another trivia question. Thank you so much. Okay, Cliff's got it. BB gun. Yes. Or laser pointer.
This is California.
Yeah, California.
He'll get SWAT called down on you in California.
Thank you so much, Cliff and Janie and Daniel and Dawn. And was Scott here?
Scott,
I thought we said Scott, right?
Scott,
Yeah, we said Scott. Awesome. Janie, Scott. I think we got everybody.
Yep.
We are so glad you're here. It always makes our show much, much, much better. So have a great week, folks. Yep. We will see you next Friday night.
Yep.
Where is it? Where's the thing? There it is. Good night.
So professional.
Yes.